Hey guys, Trainer DC here, coming at you with another video. The massive Pokemon Winds and Wave leak continues. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a new leaker who has entered the scene named Kerwa, who is posting a lot of information regarding Winds and Waves. I'll leave a card up above to the last video going over the information we knew at that point if you don't know what I'm talking about, but we have yet another new wave of information, including cross-gen evolutions that we'll be getting in Winds and Waves, amongst some other information as well. So without further ado, let's get into this. So as I just said before, we have a handful of Pokemon that are going to be getting brand new regional evolutions in this game. They include Onix, Houndour, Zweilous, and Salandit. Now, the thing I want to touch on here before getting to each of those Pokemon individually is they're saying brand new regional evolutions, which makes it sound like these are evolution to regional variants. However, there's been confirmation online that apparently these look like they're going to be new evolutions for these Pokemon in the form of cross-gen evolutions, but take that with a grain of salt. So first and foremost, Onix is a really cool one. I think Onix getting a split branched evolution is awesome. It's going to be kind of like your Skizor to Kleavor situation for Scyther. I think getting another evolution for Onix alongside Steelix is really cool, and honestly, I'm really excited about that one. I'm curious to see what type of evolution it is for Onix. Is it going to retain the rock type for Onix and become a rock variant of Onix's evolution, where you have the steel type and Steelix and a rock type in this new one, or is it going to be something entirely different? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Houndour is an interesting one because Houndoom's a pretty cool Pokemon. It's kind of interesting to see that we're going to have a regional evolution for Houndour, assuming it's a cross-gen evolution, or maybe it is a regional variant for Houndour that has a brand new evolution. Houndoom is a really cool Pokemon. The fact that we're going to have a split branched off evolution for Houndour is interesting to me. I don't know where they're going to go with this one. Maybe it is a regional variant that gets a regional evolution, but as I said before, it seems like these are most likely going to be cross-gen evolutions because this is all coming from a data mine from one of the builds of Winds and Waves. It lists it as Houndour 2, which is the same way that Houndoom is listed in the code. So again, this seems like it's going to be a cross-gen evolution, a brand new split branched evolution. Zweilous is a really interesting one to me because it's the first time ever that a pseudo-legendary is going to get a split evolution. We've never seen that before, and it's really a surprising one at that. Salandit is one we talked about in the other video. It's going to be a dragon poison type, which makes me think this is most likely going to be a male variant, a male evolution for Salandit, because obviously Salazzle is a female only evolution. So hopefully this is a male only evolution, kind of like your Gallade to Gardevoir situation, because back when I made that video a little while ago, we thought this was going to be a regional evolution, but again, it seems like this is going to be a cross-gen evolution instead. In the current build of the game, there is no new evolution and no Tropius evolution. I think Tropius is a Pokemon that everyone was looking at for this game as someone who's going to get highlighted because just Tropius fits this tropical environment. I think Tropius is a Pokemon that desperately needs something, but I'm not super against or upset at the idea that it's not getting anything. However, not getting a new evolution is very strange to me because I feel like Eevee is a Pokemon that should eventually get an evolution for every single typing, and that's something I want to see someday, but we haven't gotten a new evolution since Generation 6 in X and Y in Sylveon, which obviously was the Fairy type evolution. They were planning a Flying type evolution for Generation 7, but that got scrapped, and since then we haven't seen any attempt at a brand new evolution, not that we know of at least. So I'm a bit disappointed to see that, yeah, we're not getting a new evolution in this game because that's another generation coming and going without Eevee getting anything. But does that mean we're going to have to wait till Gen 11 for an evolution? Gen 12, Gen 13, is there never going to be a new evolution? It's just odd to me that Eevee's this Pokemon that has all these evolutions for every different type, or at least a lot of different types right now, and they haven't revisited that in quite some time. I don't know why that's the case, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to get an underwater POI like the Glimwood Tangle style coral reef called Neon Abyss. Cool, I guess it's going to be like a deep sea exploration type area. There are going to be areas of the world where you can only reach it by flying, so like sky islands, I guess, or maybe we're going to explore the clouds. I don't know, that should be interesting to see. Shinies are going to be in the overworld once again, and the shiny sound is returning, which is great. I mean, I don't know why in Scarlet and Violet we got rid of the shiny sound, and I don't know why in prior games there weren't overworld shinies. Like, this is something that should be there in every Pokemon game. Both legendaries are in both games and have a role in the story like in Black and White. Now, this one was confusing to me when I first read it because I interpreted it as, oh, we can catch both legendaries in both games, but no, apparently what it's going to be is both legendaries appear in both games, but only one is catchable. So what this means is in prior Pokemon games like Scarlet and Violet, for example, if you were playing Scarlet, you only saw Koraidon in that game. Miraidon did not exist. If you played Violet, Miraidon existed in that game, and Koraidon did should not exist. So basically what's going to happen in this game is we're going to see whatever the Winds legendary is appear in Winds and be able to be captured in Winds, and then whatever the Waves legendary is going to appear in Winds as well, having some role in the story in some capacity. Think of like in Sword and Shield where you had that fight against Eternatus and Zacian and Zamazenta are both present at the same time. Something akin to that is what I'm expecting here. We have a continuation of this leak as well, saying that Nincada and Clamperl may get new regional evolutions. I would assume in these cases that they're going to be cross-gen evolutions, given that these are split evolutionary lines already. It would mean we're going to get another evolution for Nincada, another evolution for Clamperl. Instead of having a two-way split evolution, we're going to have a three-way split evolution, which is rather interesting to see, and I'm curious if this one actually happens. The reason this one is a may instead of it's going to happen is because the leaker said Nincada is a line you should pay attention to. Clamperl is a line you should pay attention to. So we don't really know necessarily what that means, but the interpretation right now is it's going to get a regional evolution, but it also could be a weather form too, but we'll have to wait and see on all that. The last thing I have for you today is regarding the Pokedex number, which if you haven't watched the last video, it's going to be 300 plus brand new Pokemon. The number we have right now is 307. Apparently, this includes new species of Pokemon and new regional forms. It does not include weather forms and does not include Pokemon with multiple forms like Alcremie or like Arceus, for example. So in the prior video, I had said that I assume the weather forms, maybe there's 50 of them, then we're down to 250, but no, apparently they're not included in the number, which makes the number even more crazy. It's going to be only new Pokemon and regional variants, which means we're getting 300 new Pokemon plus 300 regional variants, which is even more absurd than what I said in my last video. Because in my last video, I was saying, oh, if you take Pokemon X and Y, for example, right, and you add on the Mega Evolutions in that game, you add on the Mega Evolutions for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, plus the 72 Pokemon that we had in Pokemon X and Y introduced in Generation 6, I believe the total is like 110 or 120 brand new Pokemon designs, right, in Mega Evolutions and brand new Pokemon. So I was like, okay, if you take like 200 brand new Pokemon, you have, you know, like 50 regional variants and then maybe 50, you know, weather forms. That's not that crazy, but no, it's going to be 300 new Pokemon and regional forms, which is insane. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like it might be a bit too much in all honesty, but again, they're saying some of these might be saved for the DLC. We'll have to wait and see what happens there because 307 brand new Pokemon is kind of crazy. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that we're getting 4 to 6 brand new cross-gen evolutions in this region? One for Onix, one for Houndour, one for maybe Clamperl, and maybe Nincada. What do you think of those? Do you like that selection of Pokemon that I just listed off to you, or do you wish someone else was getting a regional evolution or cross-gen evolution instead of Zweilous and Salandit along with the others I mentioned before? What do you think about the fact that we're going to have 307 brand new Pokemon, including regional variants, but not including the new weather forms? Do you think that's too many, or do you like the fact that this is going to be the biggest generation we've ever had before? And lastly, how do you feel about there being no new evolutions and no Tropius evolution in this game? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.